actually bad and scandalous popes in our past, we've had far more sainted popes than we've had scandalous popes. Let's put it that way. That's good. Yeah. And if you notice, all in the 20th century, we've had sainted popes. That says something about this century. God has risen up powerful men to lead his church in a very tumultuous time. I'm of the opinion that eventually Pius XII will become a saint for what he did during World War II. It's one of those lesser known popes, Pius XII. He was the one, he was the last pope to speak ex cathedra. Out of the chair of Peter, he spoke infallibly.
Was he the one called Hitler Pope?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, the scandal was around.
But that is a dark legend.
Yes.
There's no truth in it.
Right.
And I think that's what is holding back his sanctity.
Yes.
I mean, his being declared saint is because of this dark legend. He's called Hitler's Pope. He's been accused of not doing anything during the World War II, when in fact he did just the opposite. He saved well over 70,000 Jews in Rome himself from persecution and the gas chambers. He provided false baptismal certificates for people to leave Europe, so that as Jews, so that they weren't considered Jews. He created false baptismal certificates for them so that they could pass as Christian.
They made a movie out of it.
Yes.
Under the blue sky.
Yes. Yes. Very good. He is one of those. Now it's also interesting, if you go to Israel today, Israel, they of course have a Holocaust memorial. And part of it, I mean, it's a great, it's quite a plaza, and part of the plaza is what they call the Grove of the Righteous Gentiles. And they have plaques underneath each tree planted in their name of non-Jews who contributed significantly to like saving Jews during the Holocaust. And one of them is Pius XII. So the Jews themselves recognize all that Pius XII did during World War II, during that time of persecution. So I think that all of that adds to the falsity of the dark legend that he was Hitler's Pope. And if you want to know more, see that movie, what is it, Under a Blue Sky?
Under the Roman Sky.
Roman Sky, yes. I would suggest taking a look at that. Yeah. But he was the last pope to speak infallibly to the church, ex cathedra, out of his chair. And he was the one that promulgated the doctrine or the dogma of the Assumption in 1950 in his encyclical Munificence Deus, which in it gives us the definitive definition of the doctrine of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin. So I think along with all of his good work that he did during World War II, in addition to that, I think eventually he'll be sainted as well. So that's just my 2 cents. I admire Pope Pius XII. Part of that admiration comes from he launched a modern biblical investigation, for lack of a better term. He wanted to modernize our understanding of the scriptures, and he came up with an excellent encyclical called Humani Generis that describes how the church approaches the Bible. And this again was in the 1950s. And it was basically the standard for many, many years in the modern times until the advent of what we call modern biblical historical criticism, which now has kind of turned from that. But we haven't discarded what he wrote in Humani Generis. I just want that to know. It's just been kind of subdued, for a lack of a better term. But again, very, very powerful pope for his time. I actually knew a World War II veteran who was at the Thanksgiving Mass that Pope Pius XII gave to all of the American liberators of Rome after the liberation. And he was just, he got to kiss the Pope's ring. He had all the soldiers come, and that were Catholic, obviously, and he wanted to thank them for the liberation of Rome by the Americans. So that was really quite something to meet a veteran like that. So anyway, so tonight I want to get for those of you who have not received my email this week, I want to just give you a calendar for the end of the year events. The end of the year is upon us. It's coming faster than we think. It seems to be coming at breakneck speed at work now. So next week, no Bible study because it's Thanksgiving week. I want to give you, I don't know about you, but I need a break, both from work and school. I just need a break. And it's a time for you to just be with your family and your friends for Thanksgiving break. We will resume the following week on the 27th, and again on the 4th. This year, the Immaculate Conception falls on a Saturday, which means that they will most likely mean that your day of obligation will be Sunday. So just note that. The 11th of December, I'm going to be giving my now famous Have a Merry Deconstructed Christmas message. What does that mean? Well, as I've been kind of alluding to, and these days I've been teasing it, we have a lot of traditions and beliefs about Christmas and the Christmas story. And these are promulgated in things like our Christmas creches, for example. Those of you who have heard the message, you'll know the answer to this, so be sure to speak up. True or false? The wise men were at the manger.
False.
False. But we put wise men in our Christmas creches, don't we? It's not biblical. It's not biblical. That didn't happen. So it's one of the many things that you're going to find out, those of you who've never heard it before. What was the first Christmas like, biblically speaking? And I end up, after deconstructing what the biblical record is, I give you an idea of what happened at that first Christmas. I'll also give you my 2 cents, if you will. And here's another one for those of you who've been here before. True or false? Jesus was born on December 25th.
No.
False. True or false? Jesus was born in the winter.
No.
False. According to the biblical record, no. Most likely he was born in the spring.
April 17.
On your birthday.
Spring, not in the winter. So why do we celebrate it at this time? That's what you've got to come back in here. All right, just tease, you know. Gotta whet your appetite. It was like, what? You know, what are we doing? You know, and you'll find out, so that is going to be on December 11th. On December 18th, we're gonna have our Christmas party. We've had this now for, I don't know how many years. At least, how would you say, Evelyn? 7, 8?
8.
At least 8 years?
We started 10, December 10.
2010.
2010 is when we first started it? Wow, okay. So we've been doing it for, 8 years now. I know we didn't do it for the first 2 years that I taught Bible study. It became a tradition, and I really like it. It's an opportunity it's a big potluck is what it ends up being. So after Thanksgiving, I'm going to come up with a list, a sign-up sheet for those who want to bring paper
Goodies.
plates and cups, for those who want to bring decorations, because that's become a big thing now, just decorating the tables, coming up with tablecloths, plastic tablecloths and centerpieces. If that's what you want to do, oh, by all means do so. I love it. We have a beautiful tree, if you notice over here, which is why we're over here, because it's blocking the projector. But I actually like being here. I think we might make it a cozy. Yes, that's the word. We might make it a permanent thing. So all things work together for good, I always say. So anyway, but we will have the party out there. Don't feel you either must bring something when you can't or are unable to. I always say that. There's always more food than we know what to do with. So please come and just enjoy the company. I will have also my traditional Christmas game, and becomes a raffle for Christmas prizes for you to win. So, and it's always on the stuff that we've been learning this year. And this year's been a little interesting because we finished the book of Revelation and we began the Song of Solomon. So we get 2 books of the Bible to pick and choose questions from. So I hope you go over your notes of the book of Revelation as well as what we've learned so far in the Song of Songs to be able to answer the questions for tickets. And they always are arranged, you know. One ticket is an easy question, like who wrote the Song of Songs? Chip, no, that's wrong. I'm old, but I'm not that old. Who did write the Song of Songs? Solomon. It's been attributed to Solomon. Yes. Now this would be like a 2-ticket question. Based on modern scholarship, was he the sole author of the Song of Songs as we have it today? No. It's clear that over time, redactors added other elements to the main corpus to it. So that's important to note. But it's still been preserved to us to this day as primarily coming from Solomon. So that would be like a 2-question answer, 2-ticket answer, and so on, you know. So the deeper you want to know, the more tickets you want, and what are the tickets for? The prizes that I raffle off, okay? So that's what, uh-oh, my warranty expired. Well, that's what I say to that. Then after the Christmas party, we're going to be off for 2 weeks. Literally, Christmas falls on a Tuesday this year, so we would meet, and then New Year's follows right after that. So no Bible study for 2 weeks after that, so enjoy time off with your family and friends. I know I will. And then January 8th, Bible study will resume. And I don't want to project because I'm always wrong, but we're in chapter 3. I would hope by the 11th, we may be through chapter 4 of the Song of Songs, which will put us at the halfway mark. There's 8 chapters in the Song of Songs. So that means that probably another 2 or 3 months, roughly, after Bible study resumes, so by March.
The summer.
In the summer. By March or the summer, we'll be done with the Song of Songs, and we will be shifting to another book of the Bible. I'm definitely looking into the New Testament again. I'm kind of leaning right now to the first book of John as a good follow-up to our story of love here, because he is the apostle of love. And his last letter to his churches is just so rich. It's probably next to the book of Revelation. It's my favorite book in the New Testament, the first book of John. I just love it. And I love John. You just hear his personality in it. And you just fall in love with this apostle. This aged apostle who looks upon his congregation and calls them my dear children. And he tells it to you straight. He says, if anyone says that they love God but hate his brother, is a liar. Why do you always just... No, he's a liar, and the truth is not in him. Got it? Wow. But John, that's so harsh. That's life. Get over it. This is serious stuff. We love God with our whole heart, soul, strength, body, and mind, and we love our neighbor as ourselves, or we're not in the faith. And that's what John says. And I love that about him. He's just so cut to the chase. And you feel this in him. He's got to be in his 80s or 90s when he's writing this last letter. And he's worried about the false teachers that are infiltrating into the church that he's seen. And what does he tell them? He says, you've got to hold fast to what you know is true. And so if you say you're in Christ, but you hate your brother, you don't know what you're talking about. How can you love God, he says, whom you haven't seen, if you hate your brother, whom you do see? Does that make any sense at all to you? No, is the answer. And I just love that fatherly heart that he has for his children. And so it's a good follow-up to all of this romantic, deep, intimate love that we're getting here in the Song of Songs. Yeah, I'm bringing it back. Okay? So that's kind of where I'm leaning with it. And it's a good epistle to dive into and get some real good insights, practical wisdom from our elder brother in the faith. And before I forget, I'm going to save this before I forget. All right. So, with that, tonight, as I said, it's table talk time. I've already gone through chapter 3. We've broken it down. So tonight, what I want to do is have you, since you've read it and done your study questions, you should have for the last 2 weeks,